Hey guys, in this video, we are going to learn about map functions. Before watching this video, I will recommend you to go and watch the JavaScript map functions in our JavaScript tutorial. Before getting into this map function, let us take an example or a scenario. In this particular website, erail.in, I'm going to find from this location to this location, and here you can see we are able to get some train numbers. Now we are going to print all the train numbers using the map function. So first thing first, of course, we have to inspect this and we have to get the element or the locator, right? So here we can see this is in the A tag and it is in the within this T tag. So our ultimate goal is to find all the TD that are present within all the TR, right? So if I collapse this, you can see we are getting so many TRs. Now to find this TR, we are going to find the table first and then we are going to find that number of, the rows, and from the rows we are going to find or get the first table data, that is TD tag, right? So here I can see it has a class that has spaces. So of course I cannot use this directly, but I can use this in my XPath or CSS. I think CSS is going to be very easier here. So let me copy this ID and here I can say this. Now this is for our first match, but we are interested on the table, not the div. So here I can say dot and then followed by this class name. So I'm going to take this, let's see. Okay, so here it's giving us 1 of 1. That's fine, we are able to identify the table, but let's try to find the table rows. So here if I say tr, so that is the next tag name. So here we can see we are able to get almost 21 table rows here, right? So we can use this directly. So let me copy this, and here I have already written few of the code like wait for angular enable equal to false. Of course this is not an angular website, so we are making this to false. And also I'm using the implicit wait as of now with 20 seconds. I will tell about this in detail maybe in some another video. As of now, understand that implicit wait means it is going to find all the elements within this given time. So if there is no element, it is not going to throw us any error immediately. Rather, it is going to wait for a few seconds, that is the given seconds, and then it is going to throw us the error. We'll talk about this detail maybe in some another video. And then followed by I have just loaded the URL directly. So instead of typing here and then clicking on this get train, I just can take the direct URL. So that's going to save our time. And here we have this it block. Within this we are going to write our actual code. So first thing we have to get the CSS. So I'm just going to use this $. So that means it is going to find element.all, right? So we have learned element.all. That is going to be very same as $, but in element.all within the bracket we have to pass like by dot XPath or ID or CSS, something like that. But in terms of this $, this is going to just take CSS. We cannot pass any ID value or the XPath. Of course we can pass the ID, but that should be in terms of CSS. So here let us paste the value and let us name this as rows. So let rows, and from the rows we are going to map through each and every element. So for that, of course I have to use this rows. So before that await and then rows, and then followed by here we have a function called map. Now this map function is going to accept a callback that should have element and index, and of course you know, right, index is optional. So here I'm going to say async first. So of course we need async, and within this I'm going to say element. So one element at a time, and this guy is going to give us index, right? So easy, right? Now here we are going to use this arrow syntax, and within this we are going to find the table data, right? So we are now within this rows. So here within this rows, let's say that we are within this row, and within this row I want to find the table data, right? So here I'm going to say element and again $, and here we are going to find all the table data, but we don't need all the data, rather we are interested only on the first table data. So here I can say get of 0. So that means it is going to find all the table data, and from there it is going to take only the first matching data. Now here I'm going to say this as maybe first data. That's it, easy, right? Now let us try to print the value here. So here I'm going to log this, and here I'm going to say first data, dot get text, right? That's it. Very easy, right? Now of course we have to use this await, or else we know what it's going to give us. And since we are using this await function everywhere, I mean the await keyword everywhere, we should make the function as async as well, right? That's very easy. Now let us try to run this and let's see what happens. So here I'm going to click on this run test. So it's loaded the URL and then followed by it's trying to do something. Let's check the console here. So I'm just going to move this around here. And here you can see we are able to get few datas, but not everything. So here you can see it stopped actually in this 12657, and that is this data, right? So we are going to get an exception. Let me tell you why that. So here you can see we are able to get a exception, and it says that index out of bound. The reason here is, if I go to this particular website here, you can see, let me just refresh this page again. So what happens when I load this web page? Here you can see we are able to get something in this. Now if I try to inspect this, here you can see this is actually th, table header tag, not the table data. But what we have written here is, we are able to, we are finding the table data from each and every element. That element is nothing but our table row. So from the table row we are finding to get all the table data, and we are trying to get the first value. So in this particular place we are able to get the data, but when it's come to that particular location, it says that it giving us some error, and it says that index out of bound, right? Anyways, we got our examples, we got our output, but of course we have to write error free code. So of course we can use the try catch and we can implement that here, but we didn't learn the try catch yet, so I'm going to skip that as of now. So let's see how to fix other than this. Actually in this particular website, if you see, if I click on the start on date, it is going to remove all that particular header. Now we'll get only the table rows. So I'm going to do the same here. Of course we will learn a try catch maybe in some another video. Okay, so I'm just going to click this id, and before getting the row itself, I'm going to click on that. So here I have to say this id value, and of course hash, and then dot click is the function, right? And of course we have to use the await. Now let's try to run this and then we'll move forward. Okay, so again we got some failure. Let's see what happens. So it says that stale element reference error. So stale element reference means we are when we are trying to access the variable or the data, it is not there. So that means when I do the click on, the action is going to be very fast, and this guy is not able to look at this particular element. So that's the reason we got this. So of course we have to learn the wait concept for this, but as of now I'm just going to include this sleep over here, so that we can learn the WebDriver wait concept maybe in some another video, right? So I'm just going to give 3000, so that means it's going to wait for 300 seconds, not 300 seconds, I'm sorry. So it's going to wait for 3 seconds, and let us try to run this again. So I'm just going to clear up my console and I'm going to run test. Okay, so it's easy, right? So we are able to get all the video. So in the learning process of map, we also learned about what is tail element references. So we'll talk about that maybe in some another video in details, like why it's happened, when it's happened, everything. And also we'll learn about the try catch concept in detail. So don't get deviated, just to stay focused, follow our playlist. So that's going to help you for sure, right? Now you might have asked me, Koushik, this is exactly same like looping through each and every element and getting the data. So why we have to use the map? Why not the for each or the for iterator or something like that, right? So of course your question is valid, but when we use the for loop or the for each or any each conditions, so what happens is it mutate the data. That means the original data gets changed, but in certain conditions, we do not want to change our data, rather we want to keep the data separately and we have to do something. So the beauty of map is map it's going to return us new array. So if I mouse over here, you can see it's giving us this promise of any and with this square bracket, right? That means it is going to return us new array. Let us also see how to get that. So instead of printing this data here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to store that. So here I will say return, and of course this is going to be your object data type. I hope you remember this. And here I'm going to say maybe first we can say this as train number. So train number, and of course we have to give this value, so colon then followed by first data and comma, and after that let us also try to print the index here, right? So index, that's it. Now please remember, in object data type you should not give like semicolon like this, you have to use the comma, right? Now this is going to return us, so of course we have whatever the value we are going to get here, we are going to store this. And here I will say that my train numbers, let's make this as my train numbers map. And once this is completed, so I'm just going to print this. So after this bracket here I will say console.log, and here I'm gonna print my variable, right? So my train, yeah, that's it, right? Okay, so we should return the text, not the data itself. So here I'm going to give get text, and of course I should use this await keyword here, and then it is going to return this. And here we are able to store this, and here we are printing the data. So of course I have to make await here as well, and then let's try to run this again. Okay, so we got the answer, and it's going to be very simple. So here you can see we got out this object data here, and we are just printing this data. So here you can see we are able to get all the train numbers, and then followed by this index value that we are storing, I mean we are returning here, right? So that's going to be easy. And here it says that we should not use the, I mean it's suggesting us that await keyword is not necessary, but of course we can use that, so nothing wrong about it. So let's quickly recap. Here first we are clicking on the table data, not the data, actually date only field, so that our table will consist only the table rows and the data, not the table header tag, because that can affect our code. Of course this website has this particular like scenario, so that's why we are using this. If our website doesn't have that scenario, of course we can go with the try catch. We will see that in our upcoming videos. And just to avoid the stale element reference, we are using this thread.slip again. It's not a good practice as everyone says, I know that. We will learn the web private concepts later on videos, so as of now I think this perfectly fine, nothing is going to stop us. And then we are able to find this table rows, and we are storing that in a variable called rows, and from the rows we are using this map function. So map function is very easy. If you learned our JavaScript tutorial, probably at this point you might have got this. So this guy is going to ask for a callback function that is going to be a element and index. Now index is optional, if you want to pass you can, or else just skip it, doesn't matter really here. And then we are using this async, so that we can use this await keyword and we can fetch the get text, and whatever the text and the index we are receiving from our callback, we are just returning that, so that we can use this data for our future references, right? Now you might ask me, Koushik, are we really going to use this map function in our project? Again, it depends on, I cannot say whether you are going to use or not. Personally, I do not use that much, but this is very useful. What we use almost like every time, at least I'm using in my project, is the filter function. So we'll talk about the filter function in the next video. So if you are new to the channel, kindly do the subscribe to the channel. And that's it guys from my side. See you in the next one very soon. If you have any queries, please do reach me out on LinkedIn or the YouTube comments. I'll be happy to resolve all your queries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one very soon.